Good morning, everyone. I'm going to start off my speech with a story. So when I was in about 5th grade, I signed up for the junior rodeo at where I used to live in Idaho. And one of the events that I was going to do was bull riding. So I went and practiced, and the first time I got on one, I really didn't know what I was doing. And let's just say I went forward and he started coming back, and now I'm left with a dimple right here. I don't really know what happened, but my face just got swollen, and then like 2 months later, I had a dimple. So I'm gonna be telling you guys about a bull rider, just 3 major events in his life. His name's J.B. Mooney. Why you should listen? Just because he's probably one of the greatest, and I just think it's cool because we're like living in an age where like probably one of the best basketball players is playing, best baseball players playing, and that's bull rider. The 3 topics I'm going to be talking about are his injuries, his famous ride, and his earnings. When I was looking up his injuries, I found that his injuries are based off of which bones he hasn't broken rather than the ones that he's broken, because he's broken so many of them. When he turned 18, he lacerated his liver and broke all the ribs on his right side. Doctors say he was supposed to be out for 8 months, and he got back on the bull after 4 months. The summer of 2005, he was about 2 months from turning pro. A bull stepped on him, a 1,500-pound bull stepped on him, and he had a knot the size of a volleyball in his stomach. Doctors said he should have got up, walked 5 feet, fell over dead. Some other things he's broke his back, he broke both of his hands, he broke both his legs, his jaw, separated his shoulder, bruised his kidney and his spleen, had a concussion, tore his ACL and his MCL, fractured his hip, torn his rotator cuff when he dislocated his shoulder, and now he has a screw and 13 anchors in his shoulder. Now, obviously, this guy's pretty tough, but something that really stood out to me was in 2012, he rode a bull named Gunpowder with his opposite hand because his right arm was broke, so he started riding with his left hand. And in 2019, he rode a bull named Stone Cold Crazy with a broken leg. There's a quote from him that says, if you're going to be the best bull rider, you got to ride the best bulls to do it. Which leads me to my next point. So I talked about his injuries, now his famous ride. His famous ride was on a bull named Bushwhacker. He probably is one of the greatest bulls that's ever been in the PBR. He's 1,700 pounds. He had a buck-off streak of 42, which is that's the record, which I'm not sure if it'll be broken. I mean, Bruiser had a pretty good career. Asteroid. There's a bunch of great bulls, but Bushwhacker was definitely the best. He only competes in the final round of the PBR, and it's the Cowboys who pick him. JB faced him 9 times before he got on him, and on August 17th, 2013, he waited a year before then to get back on him. And in Tulsa, he picked him, and he ended up riding him for 95.25 points, which 95, that's a really good score. Basically, you base the bull's performance on 50 points and the rider's out of 50 points. And after an interview, JB said he was just shooting from the hip. The previous 9 times he went on him, he was trying to game plan for him. This time he just got on him and let his body react. Bushwhacker was more of a Hail Mary bull, big risk, big reward. Which leads me to my 3rd point. So I talked about his injuries and his famous ride. Now his earnings. JB has been riding professionally for 14 years. He's won the World Championship twice, and he's 2nd all-time for qualified rides with 526 as of August 17, 2019. His rookie season in 2006, he made a little over $66,000. $66,000. In 2009, before he won his $1 million, he was in the 6-figure range. 2009 was his highest 6-figure, was $772,000. In 2011, $210,000. In in 2013 is when he won his first world championship, and he made $1.385 million. His next year after that, 2014, he was fourth in the world and made a little over $497,000. 2015 is when he won the world again, and he made a little over $1.541 million. JB in his career has made over $7 million. I'm going to just show you a picture of him. So that's JB Mooney. This is his bull, Bushwhacker, and here's the video of his ride, I guess.
They have faced 9 times before, 6 of them on the Built for Tough series. Every time it has gone Bushwhacker's way, and that's taking nothing away from Mooney. Bushwhacker holds the record, the best ever, 42 straight buck-ups. There's something about JB this weekend, and specifically tonight, that makes you think, maybe, just maybe, the impossible can happen. It's over. It's over.
So in conclusion, I talked about his injuries, his famous ride, and his earnings. And if you wanna get a dimple like me, just go ride bulls. Thank you.